Good evening, everybody. We are live on Facebook and Zoom. Welcome to The Road Less Traveled by DRMI Ministry, Domestic Road Ministries International. And today we're going to talk about financial awakening. It is one of the things God spoke to us about back in November of last year. One of the three mandates He told us was happening with this great awakening. And we have our good friend, Florio Masares, who's actually our financial advisor and good friend and brother. And he's been helping us along the way. And so we're going to interview him about, especially in this time of the pandemic and this whole COVID-19, why is it more important to talk about financial awakening, what it looks like from his perspective, being a financial professional, being a man of God, being a businessman, entrepreneur. And Florio, why don't you introduce yourself, tell them who you are and what you do.
Hi. Hey, well, nice to see you guys. Lorali, Maria, appreciate being here. Totally. I appreciate that. And yeah, so I've been in, so just kind of previous background for myself. I was in retail management for about 20 years, helping the world spend more money than they should, right? Professionally learned how to do that. And spent most of my career really learning how to create debt for families, and unfortunately never got fulfilled with all of that. And I've spent the last 6 years now helping families financially, learning how money works, and as a financial professional now, helping hundreds of thousands of people really put themselves in better positions financially, getting a roadmap to really understand what it means to have financial security, financial independence, and really applying basic laws and rules that I let everyone know that even my own 10-year-old understands, right? And money's not supposed to be complicated. It really isn't, but unfortunately the society and the world has kind of let it be that way. So I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you because we know you're busy. We know you're helping a lot of families and holding a lot of presentations for different people, businesses. So you're very wanted in that area. So we think for taking time of your family's life and your business to talk with us in this interview. And I want to share a quick testimony. First of all, people, this is unrehearsed, no questions planned, raw and real, down and dirty, and just give it to you like it is. And we met Florio from a mutual friend named Jason Paulino, who will have on another segment later in time about physical awakening, how he got healed supernaturally and through the doctor's help too, and how this whole concept what Florio has done has helped his family. But I want to give a testimony. I'm always vulnerable and transparent. But I remember several months ago, Florio sat at our table and shared some concepts with me that I was never taught. I literally cried. I literally had tears coming down my face because nobody ever taught me how to get my money in order. And since then, so in my life being an awesome planner, awesome just with budgets and get things paid off. With Florio putting protection on all this, we now have money in the bank. Our credit cards are paid off. We're excited about our future. If something happens to me, she's taking care of somebody else. I'm taking care of our property is taken care of, our life is taken care of. So that's just a little bit of what he's done for us. But I really cried because I was never taught these principles that are so simple and so good. So why is it so hard for people to talk about money?
That's an amazing question. I love that we aren't rehearsed on this, by the way, because I get my real answers, by the way, too. I love that, and I appreciate you. But man, that's a great question. I mean, it's funny enough, and I can even just get vulnerable on my own. I mean, my getting into the industry, for myself, I said I was in retail for almost 20 years, helping people basically understand how credit cards and debt works and applying that to live in a consumerist type of world. And, I think there's that. I think there's part of it was, for myself to face the reality of that I had to make some changes was a pretty hard decision. When my dad passed away, and he pretty much left my mom $250,000 of debt, $25,000 of life insurance, I think, getting broken, like our family getting broken like that kind of had to force a little bit of reality to be faced. And the crazy part is when that happened to my family, I didn't have anyone around me because that was 15 years ago. I didn't have anyone around me to show me how to fix it. I just watched everything fall apart and then just kind of accepted it as it was. And frustrated and bothered, and we're talking like spiritually, I think traumatized, like embarrassed, I was absolutely embarrassed to that my family didn't put things in place, and I didn't even know what that meant, by the way. But I know obviously we didn't do things right, because what I know now is when someone passes away, your family should be maybe emotionally, of course, you're going to be less like frustrated, sad, all of that's normal. But financially, your family should be better off when you pass away. By the way, if you do things right, your family should not be worrying financially. Emotionally, yes. Financially, no. Right? But when my dad passed away, we got it all. We got the financial issues, emotional issues, family fighting, everything broke down. Right? I was embarrassed. I mean, I didn't, I was already, and when my dad passed away, that was a week before my wedding. And so I didn't even, and my wife, Lorali, could testify to that too. I don't think it took me like 2 years to get my head right, because I didn't even know what had happened to me. Everything was just a whirlwind of events, and I didn't have resources or coaches or mentors to guide me. And I didn't even know there was answers. I just really kind of just there wasn't GoFundMe at the time. There wasn't, there wasn't really the internet resources available. I guess I could have gone to the library or something. But yeah, just a lack of that. And because of that, that's why people, they don't know where to go. So they kind of just end up fending for themselves, and then I guess embarrassment would be one thing. They don't want to have to face such a personal thing. I kind of say this sometimes. I feel that sometimes people's financial situation, that people would rather talk about they're less likely to talk about their financial status than they are about like their relational or their sex status or things like that. Does that make sense? Like, it's very private. Money, because there's like this societal thing that says like, oh, if I'm here, then I'm better than you, or if I'm here, I'm not better than you. And so because of all that, people, it's a great question you got me on, because I'm like, yeah, that's really why people are just don't want to face that. And so it's hard for people to go and, hey, please help me, I'm here, and, and humble themselves and do that. But most people won't.
You spoke a truth there, because with me, there was when we sat down, I shared my tears, and I was embarrassed. Him, a man, in front of my wife, sharing my financial pattern or where I was. It was embarrassing. I'm a hard worker, I pay my bills, but with some very simple principles you gave us, some simple strategies in a very short period of time, we turned some things around in a great way. And now I don't have that embarrassment no more. Actually, I'm proud, and I'm like in pride. I mean, pride, like, okay, I feel like that part of my life is handled like a man now. And I think too, if you talk on this, I think we talk about finances and money and strategies and planning. We're used to people with millions of dollars in the bank, and they go to these big agencies that take care of, I'm called the 1%ers. Well, that's awesome. But the everyday person don't have that kind of connection or that kind of money. They have the $500,000, the $1 million in their bank account to put strategies together. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that's really what I fell in love with what I do, because what I found out, there were companies that actually want to serve and help the everyday person, right? Like, I mean, traditionally money, if you read books like What Would the Rockefellers Do and stuff like that, when you find out what strategies wealthy people had, you had to have like a high-end attorney, a high-end CPA, and a high-end agent to handle all of your money to get anything that was worthwhile. But times have changed. People have access to everything now. I mean, as a simple analogy, Vitamix like has that expensive blender. Well, Costco sells a version just as good for about a third of the price. And they designed a high-end product to bring it to the masses so everyone else can enjoy the same result. And so if they can do it for a blender, why couldn't they do it with some financial strategies and products? The reality of the masses is everybody needs the help, right? Our company believes in no family left behind, and because my family got left behind, you got left behind, right? When we sat with you guys, it was the first time you guys were sitting in front of me going, "What the heck is all this?" Like. Yeah. I remember that meeting that you first there, and you're like, I got to record this. I'm going to send this to my wife because I don't know what the heck is happening right now. Like, my mind's being blown at 50 years old, being taught things that I should have known when I was 10 years old. Like, and it's crazy, right? And it's frustrating, but the reality is the world is shifting. The way people are getting information, the distribution of information is at an all-time high. I mean, even this talk that we're doing right now, this would have never happened pre-pandemic, honestly. Probably not.
Real quick, this is my wife Maria. I'm Lonnie Maria Ellis, the Metro Minister International. We're doing a video called The World Has Traveled with our friend Florio Masares, businessman, entrepreneur, financial planner for us. And we're talking about financial awakening. One of the mandates God gave us you to get people understanding what financial awakening is and get some things in place to understand, what could be a place of entrepreneurship, a place getting your finances in order for your present and future, and to protect your family, yourself, or your assets, your businesses, or properties. With that said, Florio, you struck it, because one thing I love when we sat down, you didn't say, take my word, you said, let me give you some books, let me give you some information to read of people out there trying to self-educate you on it first.
Yes.
And as I read the stuff you gave us, I was blown away, even at the high school level, it's taught only like a very small part of America about finding that. See, my high school taught bookkeeping and record keeping.
Right.
But they don't teach at the high school level how to plan financially for your future. You want to hit that a little bit?
Yeah, all day long. I think there's a lot of conspiracy theory when it comes to the education system around money. And, a lot of my, the statistic out there that says the average American after high school only reads one book every 10 years.
Wow.
That's scary. And in that selection of books is a collection of 50 Shades of Grey and Harry Potter, which probably are great books, but that's included in that one book every 10 years, right? So that should already just scare the living daylights out of any of us to realize that's how much. And then there follows the next quote, which is the secret of success and discipline and getting your life in order are all hidden in a book. And there's a reason why books haven't made it, like it's not on the internet. There's a reason like that. I think God has put this information there, so you have to go freaking dig for it, right? You got to go work for it. People are like, oh, I can listen to an audio. If it's that easy, probably not worth it, right? I don't know the last time I lost weight listening to an audio. Right? I know you got to go work out. You got to get disciplined, right? You know what I mean, right, Lonnie? We're talking about that health awakening, right? But yeah, you're just not going to lose weight just by listening about it. You got to do something about it. And I think God has put information specifically in books and is keeping it there so that people have to go earn it and go work for it and go and digest it. Because for me, I'm not in the convincing business, right? Like I don't believe in convincing. I was just I was on 3 other appointments today, and every single client, they're like, you're not going to try to close me? I go, no. They even had the question of why not? I go, you don't even fully believe in what I do. I know you believe me, but I need you to believe what I believe, right? And just like the good word and what we talk about, like I can preach the Bible all I want, but until you start absorbing it yourself, there's got to be a mutual freaking relationship there that's going to be helpful for us, right? And if we can get mutually educated, we can have a really solid conversation about life and success and principles and values and all of that together, right? And that's important. That's for me and my clients. Like you learn that too. I said, I don't want to help you until you read. Like I go, there's no value if I'm the only one with the answers.
That's good. Any questions before I go further?
No, but I have a question for him.
Yes, I'm saying yes.
How would you describe or talk about your relationship with God and finances with what you do?
I guess I'm here for that too. That's good. Go for it.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I believe that the closer I'm getting with God, the more that it's allowing me to be more humble to what I got to get better at. And so that's a process, right? I think I've been in business for myself for the last really about 6 years. And this was the first year in the beginning of 2020 where I started getting really connected and developing a relationship. And, Jason, he helped me with that, just getting really kind of just connected and grounded and really seeing what God wants me to be doing and how he wants me to build a business and how he wants me to help people. And and that's been one of the biggest game changers for me, because I guess coming from a world where I was all about running other stores and other companies, all it was about the bottom line. So I kind of got a little tainted in terms of, let's just bully our way to profits and bully our way. And then I come into when you get into your own business, you go, that's not the foundation I want to pass to my kids and all that. And so it took a lot for me to really just start humbling myself to be more, better with understanding how money works, and better how to be better with it. And again, it's a learning process. That's just like, as much as I'm getting better and closer to God now and developing that relationship over and over, I am having a better relationship with money, and it's less stressful, and I don't want to say it's less meaningful. It's just less stressful because I know that I'm being taken care of, and things happen better when I think just as life happens, that I'm able to handle things there because God is providing for what's there, and I also believe that the better that I serve for Him, that God will ultimately take care of all the other things that need to be provided with there, and listening to myself say this right now, I'm like, that doesn't even sound like me 6 years ago at all, right? When I got into business, right, where it was all about like this, I'm just gonna make money and close some deals, and but that's nowhere near where I am at now. Like, just it's definitely changed my heart, right? Like they say, when things go from your head to your heart, and what's in my heart now is God, and it just allows me to just be a servant leader to people and their money and where they want to go. And it's a definitely life changer, not just a game changer, but a life changer for me, for sure.
I'm glad we have this subject, because in Christendom, the Christian community widely, you mention the word money and people freak out.
Yeah.
Okay, they freak out. Oh, money's evil. No, it's the root. It's the love of money.
Right.
Money opens doors. God will use money to bless others. God will use that too. See, it's not about us taking. It's about us taking it and blessing and giving. And so when God gave me this word about this financial awakening, I said, Lord, well, give me a scripture. And He gave me the scripture. I had to go search it out. It was Proverbs 13:11, and it says, "Wealth obtained by fraud dwindles, but he who gathers gradually by honest labor will increase his riches." Or another version, NLT, says this: "Wealth from get-rich-quick schemes quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows over time." So the Bible does not talk negatively about not having money. It's where your heart is.
Right.
Because some of the richest people God used, to bless others. So it's unto God we do this, to open other doors.
Yeah.
I mean, so I know you guys talk about in your business. You guys talk about the five. We part of this whole thing with you. You talk about the 5 F's. Can you just talk about those 5 F's are real quick?
Yeah, we love that. I mean, that's principally what we love, having a company that believes in faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. Really creating a balanced in that area, but living a life that's imbalanced, right? But I guess for me, the reason that's so important, what came to my understanding really clearly this year is, if I'm gonna build something, and one day I am gonna leave the earth, and I'm gonna pass and go to heaven, I want to make sure that whatever I build actually has some meaning to it, right? That my kids are happy to. That would be not just like to have it; they want to have what we've built, right? And I kind of started realizing, if it's all about the money, I've watched a lot of people build things, and their kids or their family don't even want any part of it, And my kids are 7 and 10, and all they want to do, because of the values we now preach every single day, and every time I get to talk to someone. My kids are sitting next to me on Zooms, just watching and cheering me on, going, that's my family's company.
Yeah.
That's freaking crazy. Like, I'm telling you, I would have never wished my kids to have my retail career at all. Like, that would have been a punishment for straight up. And I think also, my wife Lorali was a teacher for all that. And though God bless her soul for being a teacher, but the reality is, what we're able to do now and how we're able to impact people, our kids at the young age are already inspired to want to do what we do. And to me, that's powerful. That's something, you know, I didn't want my dad's career, my mom's career, or anything. And it's crazy to see what, by putting God at the forefront, putting faith as a primary principle in our business, it shifted everything. It shifted not just my heart. It ultimately shifted, you know, getting me to think about it. Like, it shifted my entire family's heart to want to do more for the communities and serving and helping people. And it feels good, to be honest. Like, it just feels good.
And you know, the scripture he read, it says, wealth from get rich quick schemes quickly disappear. Wealth from hard work grows over time. And I just think about what you guys do, you know, and you put so much work into what you do, Florio, and you have such a servant's heart, and you want to serve. And I think God repays that, you know, and people are watching it, and yeah.
You know, yeah, when you helped us, you know, say, hey, you know, can you help some of our friends too? And you did. You helped a lot of our friends and families members and some people in business, and they're grateful that you did help them also. And people just don't know, they're just so scared to hear somebody with integrity talk about money, but people need to hear this story. They hear these stories. And honestly, the process of that, helping our other friends and other friends with business and families, we were able to make some money too by helping them. You know, being a referral source. I'm getting ahead of myself right now. But I know one thing you also do, you have a leadership module to your business also. Can you talk about your leadership module a little bit? How you help people become natural leaders?
Yeah, you know, we're blessed, you know, that prior to getting into what we do now, I mean, we're definitely had a lot of personal leadership development, and one of the principles of just learning that we got really founded in was really having the daily discipline of learning, right? And the daily listen. And what does that mean? Well, what kind of input do you have going on into your life every day when you're not doing what you have to do, like either in a job or whatever your profession is? You're going to have a lot of time and a lot of hours where you have time to quote unquote think. And the danger of that, in most people's cases, you become what you think, right? We know that principle. And so the company with Life Leadership, that company provided us a material and concepts to basically listen to on a daily basis, if not, you know, as much of it as possible, to really fill the void in our days with positive thinking and thoughts. Because it's kind of crazy, you know, you hear the concept of audiobooks and stuff like that, right? Which are and this can always be a little controversial topic about learning, but in my personal leadership and development experience is that what I found is audios do, the number one reason to get into audios is to kind of shut your brain from thinking of negative thoughts, because those negative thoughts compounded after a whole day. You ever wonder at the end of the day, you feel so tired or you feel so heavy? Mm-hmm. But you're like, I did a lot. I progressed. I did all my to-do list, but you're still feeling heavy. Most likely it's because you had about another 1,000 negative thoughts that are still holding on to you that you did not repel. And so what I've learned through the disciplines of listening to positive audios and reading and all that, that's actually been one of the best ways to actually help someone progress in life. And whether that could be in money, that can be in identity, all of that. You know, it's funny you say that. One of the audios I was listening to today, I just shared it with my wife, which again is another principle of leadership and developing, is have a community to do it with. But one of the audios said, hard work and discipline produces self-esteem. Hard work and discipline produces self-esteem. And you know what the number one issue with most people to become a leader or to become successful in life is? Self-esteem. Self-esteem. People don't even believe they can lead one person. They feel they can't even lead themselves at times. So how are they going to lead a team or an organization or their household, or, you know, like, and because of that, it's probably just a traumatic experience across the whole country right now, that people are so beat up on themselves, and then people are expecting them to go do something more, and which again just beats down on their self-esteem. And so imagine just getting disciplined on, you know, positive audios or positive learning, and specifically being systematic about it and creating that discipline, just like a good diet, right? You want to lose weight, you have a good diet, you have good exercise, but that's all just for your body. What are you doing for your brain?
Yes.
Doing for your brain? Like, what are you in the Word every day? Are you worshiping every day? Are you reading your goals every day? Are you reading your affirmations every day? Right? Or like, what are you doing? And then not just during the morning, your routine, which is part of it. It's like, what are you doing throughout the day? Because if your diet is good in the morning for breakfast and you have a bad lunch and dinner and an late night snack, right? Your results are going to look pretty messed up too, right? You can't just do it for one meal. You got to do it for all the meals, and that's included in you personally developing. And and what I found is leadership development, personal development is that all of that's important, which again leads to also the compound effect of finances and business. You got to have discipline all the time, not sometimes.
That's good. Good. No, I'm glad we're having this because COVID-19, we're living this whole pandemic crazy upside down 2020 right now currently, which will pass. People are freaked out. Understandably, people lost some family members. Understandably, I understand people are uncertain about what tomorrow looks like. Some have lost their jobs. We've got more busy than ever for some reason, but there's fear out there, and you turn any channel you turn on, from sports to news to whatever, like say, you're getting that fear from different angles. Let's not talk. I don't do politics. Let's not talk politics. But everybody's spewing fear right now. Why is it even more important now to talk about financial awakening in this moment? Because your business increased.
So you know what?
Yeah, go ahead, baby.
One of the things is, when it comes to financial awakening, how are you seeing people at this moment, during this pandemic, being financially awakened, right?
Oh, no, that's huge. I think the biggest thing that a lot of people are finding out, and there's a lot of different areas, but one is people learned they didn't save enough, right? People learned that their jobs, many jobs, right, 55 million of them anyway, were not secure, right? Businesses, a lot of businesses are not coming back. I just got my notice from 24 Hour Fitness about their bankruptcy lawsuit, right? That's crazy, right? 24 Hour Fitness, right? Like the monster, right? And they're claiming bankruptcy, like because of a microscopic virus, right? And so I think that what got exposed is that people also learned how volatile their money was. And really experience that again. And I think, we've seen dips before, right? We've seen in 2009, 2001, but when you kind of look at the perfect storm of events that happened, I mean, you saw Kobe Bryant die, you had now this virus, you saw the market have a correction, and that's not the worst of it, by the way. it's coming for a bigger, wait till election time. But, so people are waking up because it's not just one thing being affected. They're seeing families losing incomes. They're seeing families getting sick. They're seeing people unprepared to having enough savings. And so all of that has been a huge concern. Legacy planning has become a huge topic of concern, like having your will and your estate plan in order. That's a huge, huge topic because people feel very vulnerable right now. And so all the things that people know they should have taken care of, now they're at least starting to take steps. And so in our offices, that's why we do a lot of education side, because people now want to take those next steps to like, okay, I know I need to save more. I know I need to put my will or my trust in place. I need to make sure I have the right amount of life insurance. I need to make sure that is my retirement plan on track or off track, right? Because I always tell people, I go, well, are you on track for retirement? They're all, what does that mean? Right. A lot of people look at their 401k statements, and, a lot of families, just this week, I was talking to people, I go, when's the last time you looked at your 401k statement? And even through the pandemic, most people said they didn't even want to look at it. Right. The biggest asset they have in their life outside of their home, and they don't even watch it because they don't want to. They're so scared. Isn't that just kind of so twisted to think that someone's your second biggest asset in your life and you don't even want to know what's going on with it? And a lot of families kind of really have this, there's a thinking out there is like, I hope to retire. They're not even planning to retire. They're hoping. And the reality is, why I got into the industry is actually to give people a plan, to actually put it in place so they can actually make it happen. And with proper strategies and proper thinking, it's possible. Just like with faith, right? If we, you have faith and you work with that within what God wants of you, you'll get to where you want. And so we believe in all those same principles, by the way.
When I wrote my first book, God put my heart to write my first book, I was overwhelmed. I saw this book, finished product of this book. That's a big thing. And English was not my favorite subject in school. But after I was working my heart and my spirit and trusting him to guide me, he told me to give him a paragraph at a time. Give me a little bit. Give me a little bit. Give me a little bit. And before I know it, in 6 to 8 months, the book was done. So people see, retirement, this big picture. So they get stuck in a mindset, and just I'll get that one day. Just taking care of a little bit right now, a little bit right now, a little bit right now, a little bit right now. Then when you get there, it's there for you. Put it in the right strategies, though. The right formulas that will work for you in the future. The right vehicles.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's where education comes in, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, education is important. It's crazy. If I asked anybody to show me their plan for retirement, most of people's plans don't even involve compound interest, right? The number one rule that you need to learn about to get wealthy and to stay wealthy is compound interest. And most people don't even have that working for them, because if you have a 401k, a 403b, a TSP, an IRA, a mutual fund, or whatever, 529 plan, whatever that you got going on, if it's variable, you can't have any kind of compound interest working in your favor, because it can't happen, right? And so just that little simple nugget of just go, do you have compound interest working for you? And if you can't answer that question clearly, that's a concern, right? And you need to understand how to get compound interest, because we always use this analogy, and it's a really easy one. A little child, a little baby, like my god kids and my own kids, saving $50 a month till age 60 would have $1 million in a properly structured account. Tax-free, even better structured. So imagine $50 a month all the way to age 60, right? That seems like a long time, but it's not. $50 a month, right? It's nothing, right? What is that? $50, $600 a year, right? I mean, you can go have a nice dinner in Yountville for $600. So, but imagine that 60 years later is worth $1 million tax-free. If someone knew what they're doing, that's nuts, right? Like that's 900 and something $1,000 of interest that would be tax free, by the way. And people are like, and they don't even know how that even works. They don't even know. And I said, well, would it surprise you to know that the owner of your company has all of his kids and things like this?
Wow. Okay, so let me bring it. So it's like this unrehearsed, unplanned, no scripts. So you've been a businessman, been an entrepreneur. Since the pandemic, has your business grown or decreased?
Absolutely grown. And not just in the matter of helping families. I think we've seen so much exposure over the now it's 6 months now, right? Are we like in 6 months? April, May, June, July, August, right? Like about to hit 6 months. And what I let people know, in the last 6 months, we've had more exposure, more volume pushed through our business than we probably saw in the last 4 years, right?
Now, why do you think? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and I think you're leading to it. It's that Zoom has allowed an access point to touch more lives quicker, faster than ever. I mean, we make a little joke. We said if Jesus was around now, walking the earth, right? And what would he do right now to get his message out? He probably wouldn't go door to door. like he did 2,000 years ago. You know what I mean? He'd probably be on a Zoom, just like we're doing right now, sharing a message and allowing people to be impacted through story, through testimony, right? Through examples of those who've gone through the struggle and not trying to let them repeat it, and teach people that way so that we can get a message like this out to people, and without them even having to, step into a parking lot, or, even if not getting out of their bed or their home, they could be listening to dinner right now with their kids, listening to some, a fascinating information that can truly impact their lives. So yeah, it's I know the pandemic has been such a tough thing, but with the right frame of mind, it's been the biggest blessing if applied in the right, depending on the where it's being applied. And so it's really, for me, it's been a crazy blessing to kind of see, and allowing us to help more people and see more people than ever, for sure.
I know people have a short attention span, especially they're home busier now than before with kids and homeschooling and being together 24/7 now. A lot families are. So I want to shift gears for a minute before we sign off here. But you also have an entrepreneur side to your business. What does that kind of look like? If you could just touch a little bit on that for me or for us, and what that looks like.
Yeah, no, I'll share with you. You know, it's an interesting time and place we're in right now. If you know, the time of entrepreneurship, it's always been a good time to be an entrepreneur. If you meet with any proper CPA who understands taxes, who really understands them, and you ask them, what's the number one way I can lower my taxes? You know what they'll tell you? Go start a business. What kind of business? You go figure it out. Like they're not educated on that. They're just going to go get a business. Why? And it's the best way ever. You know, I'm not here representing as a tax person, but the number one way to leverage the tax code in your favor is to have a business. By the way, always has been, always will be. And there's a reason for that when you really go back to, you know, 1913 and go back into all the years of how taxation started, which we're not here for a history lesson, but it is the best way. And so the ability now, though. So it's one thing to have a business, but then it's also to create a profitable business, right, is the next step. And right now, I believe it is now the best time ever to have a home-based business, right, an absolute home-based business. And the truth is, in our financial industry, it's been better than ever. You know, I was just talking to someone who actually just joined my firm today, and I said, you know, he's a coach and he's teaching and all that, and he works from like 8 a.m. to like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. every single day, and then plus the weekend sometimes. And prior to all this, it probably would have been an inopportune moment for him to do anything, because he had to drive, he had to go to, you know what I mean, gas and time and energy and parking and bridges and tolls and just everything, right? Sounds like a bunch of excuses. Yeah, and they were, and it stopped most people from having the ability to do it. But now, because of technology and leverage and business systems, we have people now coming in building home-based businesses that are really able to make $50,000 to $100,000 part-time, right? That sounds crazy, right, to develop something like that, but it's truly possible now because of technology, and utilized correctly, that the industry is absolutely expanding, and the tremendous need that's needed for financial education right now has been more than ever. The industry's in the financial service sector anyway, it's $109 trillion industry. People don't know how big that is. Let me put it in perspective. You can add retail, which is about a $22 trillion industry, and real estate, which is $33 trillion. That's 54. So double. Financial services doubles both of those industries together. Is that crazy? So there's an absolute opportunity, and someone can do that from home now and learn how to do that because there's an opportunity at a low cost, low value, no traffic, don't even need to invest in pants, you know, like things like that. Just it sounds so funny. I say it all the time because it's so true, right? Like it's just a different world. And if people understood what technology has really always been the biggest a change, and this Zoom thing, you know, there's a reason why Zoom is doing so well itself, right? Yeah. And if people can learn how to leverage that technology into their business, whatever that is, we just happen to do financial services, and learn how to create that, they can really do something very powerful for their own family and create something, you know, again, from an income standpoint and residual passive income, and really be able to impact their own household if they really found someone to coach and mentor with that would help them in it. It'd be powerful.
I think Maria has a question for you, something.
No, I just wanted to say something. You know, for a lot of people that might be listening right now and are in ministry, there's a story in the Bible where it talks about Paul, and he started his own business of tent making to provide for his ministry.
That's right.
So, you know, there's one thing for God to tell you, you know, don't work, you know, I'm going to provide completely. But there's another part where he's like, hey, provide, you know, I'm going to provide you with an opportunity to do what I've called you to do. And I think this is an amazing opportunity for anybody who might be listening, is looking at, you know, if God's told you to do that.
Yeah.
And we thank you for your time. We're not cutting off yet. We just want to honor you because you are here with us tonight. You're a busy man with your own family, and you cut time your schedule for us. That's awesome. And I do want to ask a couple of questions, 2 more questions. And one is, okay, you hit us. I'm gonna put you on the spot because I know your heart. You said a word that could either, for my generation or other generations, be a positive or a negative way it's been interpreted. And I'm putting down no companies, but I'm not putting no other companies at all by any means. There's some great companies out there just have been shared wrongly. You said the word home-based business. That could freak people out because they have their own negative mindset. What that means, they hear that word, home-based business. Am I going door to door? Can you explain, in your heart as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, a successful businessman, helping founders, helping entrepreneurs, helping corporations, what does that word truly mean in your heart?
Thank you for saying that. I mean, there's two parts I want to answer to that. One is, for myself, I got into business, and what I know now that I feel called to do is I got into business to really truly fund other people's businesses, right? To be able to fund people's ministries, to fund people's purposes. And what I learned, and the best way I can do that then is to understand systems, right? And the one system that I can let people understand and how to understand and put home-based business in perspective is this. There's 3 things that help run a very solid interaction or a transaction. And there's always a prospect, which is just a new person being exposed to whatever it is you're doing. Number 2 is a relationship, right? So that's the person who's introducing. And then the third is an expert. So in the right industry and with the right coaching and the right system and the right people, if all 3 of those are there, you can actually help someone. You create a win-win-win situation, which is very rare, right? Where you can, we always say win-win or no deal. Well, how about win-win-win in business? And when we get in, and so for me, home-based business is amazing now because think about this. If I added one more screen on here, so it's me and you here, I add a third one, and we bring in our friend Bobby here, and he's your friend. And you're the relationship, Bobby's the prospect, and I'm the expert. Well, think about what just happened here. We didn't have to door knock. We didn't have to, we didn't have to get in our car. You introduced us, and you can sit there and you would edify me, go, this is my great friend Florio. He's an expert in finances. And then I go, well, glad, Bobby, that you're great friends with Lonnie. You may or may not stay on this interaction. You may just be there enough just to say hello, and Florio will take care of the rest from now, right? That could be as simple as that. And someone can do that from their own home, introduce an expert like me, and allow them to get educated with a complimentary financial review or whatever that case might be, and get helped and served. And you sitting at home, because you created the relationship for me to quote unquote borrow to help that family, you're now getting compensated for that. It's pretty powerful. The way and the ability for people to do things now is very simple, is faster than it's ever been. And if you fundamentally understand that prospect, relationship, and expert scenario, we call it the edification triangle. If you put all 3 of those together and you master that, a home-based business is not too hard to be when someone wants to just stay the relationship. You just stay the relationship, because some people don't want to be the expert. Some people don't want to become the financial guru or whatever word they want to use. And that's okay, by the way. We need lots of people to be great at relationships, by the way, right? And we need more of that there. There's always going to be an expert who's trained in, there to understand that. But again, if you can master that, I think that's what a lot of people are scared about, is trying to represent something they're maybe not an expert in. But what people forget in business, and maybe they haven't experienced that in real estate or some other businesses and things like that, but in our industry, it's really truly possible for someone to leverage their relationship and match up with an expert and still get equally compensated. It's kind of unheard of. And when I understood that, it's been a game changer. It's helped me help a countless amount of families all across the country, by the way, now, right? That's what's crazy. I think over the last couple months, I think we've gotten licensed, myself is in 14 states, right? That never got into a plane, never got into, I don't even know what the airport looks like anymore. I mean, I've seen all these states and they all look like just someone's home, right? Because we never see the outside, but it's absolutely happening. And so it is absolutely changing the way businesses and the way someone can actually create a home-based business if they can be, simply learn how to introduce someone correctly and have a good, and stay a relationship and learn how to do that, nod and smile and do some things, can actually do something pretty important and impactful out there.
Yeah.
Awesome. One more thing, say this real fast though. So people, if what you heard tonight has piqued curiosity, either put in the private messages or email, I'll put up my email address in the feed tonight, and just say, hey, I want to hear more from Florio, what he's talking about. We'll connect you with them. Go to LonnieEllis@yahoo.com, LONNIEELLIS at yahoo.com. We'll put this on our YouTube channel later with some more information there too. If you want to go to the Master Ministries International on YouTube, so you rewatch the video and try to connect with Florio, he'll do a free financial evaluation for you. It's like a $200 value, which is awesome. He's helped us and our friends. And before we close out, Florio, I know you got to go. But if you take 1 minute, 30 seconds and just share your heart. You shared a lot of great nuggets tonight, but share your heart, just 30 seconds to a minute, what this all means to you.
And, guys, like I like I said, I kind of shared it earlier, but to put it in summary, I thought I came into business to make a lot of money, and I'm not against that. But what wakes me up in the morning, what keeps me up at night, is changing lives. And what does that mean? Changing lives, giving people hope again in terms of their finances, and either from them putting their own finances in order or them creating an opportunity to actually create income that they thought they would have never been able to create. And for me, the ability to change lives, and my campaign and my company right now is Change a Million Lives. And that doesn't just mean financially. That means changing people in their faith and their families. That means like saving marriages, right? That means creating relationships where kids look up to their parents and look at them as their heroes, right? Looking at their finances and getting better. Again, it's a process, and the growth and the fitness, making sure people are healthy, because who cares if you have all that and then you die too soon because you didn't take care of yourself, right? And not just from a physical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint. Mental health is huge. Like, I mean, yeah, we've got to get better, and then people need to learn how to have more fun in life, because what's the point? And so I just really believe that to make a difference and a change for me right now, changing a million lives doesn't mean just a million lives. Changing a million lives who then can touch 100 lives is now 1 billion lives. So for me, my belief right now is I want to change 1 million lives for the pure selfish reason that I really believe I can change the world. I really believe that with a million people who have been positively impacted, who are living a life around the 5 Fs, we can actually shift the entire planet. I really believe that. Is it going to take a lot of work? Of course it is. Nothing great ever came easy, but right. Jesus did it. We can do it, right? Like, we can, with the right principles, the right values, the right connections, all working together. Of course it's possible. I believe it. God's told me it's going to happen. So why am I going to deny his vision and his downloads for me? And I'm working with great people like you and other centers of influences. I've been blessed in this last month to be reconnected with tons of center of influences. And I know God's just realigning all of this to happen. And and the crazy part is, this isn't like every time I talk to someone, I say, if we can align here at the top, we'll figure out all the bottom, right? As long as we can figure out the top, we'll align at the bottom, and it's all coming together. And tonight's another validation of exactly what's happening. We all want a better life. We all want a better life. And why not have a life that's fulfilled in all the areas of faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun? Why not? Why not? And it's possible. And if you're with the right people in the right community and the right leadership, it's all possible. So I hope that answers that question.
Powerful. We want to thank you. We love you. We thank you for helping us, helping our friends, and continue to help us and teach how to help others. And for your time, for your time for Lorali and the kids. And we just want to honor you. Thank you, man. You are amazing, and we know it's a calling. It's a calling that God has given you. and you're breaking ground in a way that people don't know from the traditional what they hear in the secular market, what you're bringing. So we pray for you. We're on board with you. We can't wait to see where it all goes for you. And we thank you for your time tonight. And I know you got more to do tonight. So we want to say we love you and thank you. And anything you want to say, babe, in closing? Thank you, man. We'll talk soon. And thank you for the night. We'll put up on our YouTube channel later, and we'll let you know about that. And like I say, people get a hold of us on the feed. And if you want to get some more information, what Florio's doing, how he's helping founders, help us, and we'll get you connected, okay? Be blessed. Take care. We'll talk soon, man.
Good night.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Love you guys. God bless you.
Yeah.
Bye.